Well, I guess my music doesn't want to play. That's okay. God and Goddess, I thank you for this beautiful day and for this amazing weather, this lovely park that people come to gather in and fellowship and enjoy all of this beautiful energy. Thank you for putting us here and for all the people that we can influence and talk to. Help us to plant those seeds of compassion in love and in a way that will bear great fruit. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Today on the Nasrian calendar, I want to make sure that my music isn't playing. It is Heritage Day, and on our screen here is the noontime peace contemplation. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. So important to pass on good things, and whether or not you ever plan to have children, the things that you are doing now can either perpetuate this violent matrix system that we live in, or it can create a better world. So the things that we are passing on to the future are also within ourselves as well. The traditions that we carry on, the thoughts, the beliefs. I'm in a few vegan parenting groups. I've been in parenting groups for many years, just trying to learn all that I can so that when that time comes, I can be an awesome mom. But recently I've been seeing posts about vegans that are, they have children that are very young actually, and they are around other kids that are not vegan, and they are, questioning whether or not they should start allowing eggs and dairy and different aspects of things that obviously are not vegan. It's just kind of interesting to read the comments. The most recent one that I saw, this lady was talking about whether or not she should let her kids, and I just chimed in and said, the last post that I read from this group was a mother that was allowing her children to eat eggs and dairy, and she's lamenting the fact that they are now eating meat. And so it's kind of interesting just to see these different parents' struggles, and how some people in the comments are very strict about it and others are not so strict. But for me, obviously, my children are going to be vegan. I know that the Megillah allows for dairy and eggs that are well cared for, from well cared for animals that are treated in a Nasrian way. I personally will not be allowing those things for my children. And it's just interesting to kind of observe how we approach different things like this, whether you're going to be a Nasrian, vegetarian, or vegan, how we teach our children what is acceptable. In these certain forums that I'm on, parents will say, if you don't stick to your guns, you're kind of teaching them that in certain cases, veganism doesn't matter. And so those cases are going to present themselves even more realistically. And soon enough, you'll have a child that might be eating meat if you don't teach them properly. So obviously that's just one area of things that we have to teach our children on. It's kind of interesting too that these parents in a vegan group will be saying that they should allow their children essentially to choose whether or not they eat it. If you let your children choose to eat Skittles for breakfast and, all these different other options, it's kind of interesting that they will compromise on something. As vegans, we usually are very passionate about these things, that they're willing to compromise because of whatever reason. And one of them being they don't want their child to feel left out or have food issues or other things. But first of all, they're not being left out of anything that's important. It's usually these candies and poisonous treats that we give our children for their birthday, which is ridiculous too. I plan on not giving my child a poison pie for their birthday, right? That cake that's full of sugar and stuff that is actually hurting them. they're not actually missing out on anything that is important if they don't eat that Kit Kat bar or that cake or ice cream treat that their friends are having. Realistically, the food problems are going to come when they become addicted to those things, um, or corrupted by them as well, right? The things that we are consuming can either purify or corrupt us. And even as vegans, there are plenty of corrupting foods that we can be eating. And so it's important to not. So, anyways, I just wanted to come on and tell you about my plans for this weekend. I am quite a bit into the slides for the next readings, but they are the emerald tablets, and it's a lot of important stuff. Because this weekend's the 4th of July, I have friends that are going to be in town. I'm not going to commit to starting that reading yet because I don't want to pause the reading once I start, really. So maybe on Monday I will continue that. But for this weekend, I am not going to promise anything because everything is kind of up in the air. But I was also considering moving the peace contemplations to actual noon. Solar noon is not the same time as, our noontime clocks say. I found this solar noon table for my location, and today, July 2nd, solar noon is actually at 1:12 our time. So maybe I might be starting to shift to a little bit later time so that the contemplations that are meant to be happening when the sun is highest in the sky are actually taking place. So some other changes coming. I'm super excited to announce yesterday. The reason that I didn't do my 3 p.m. 3:30 live was because I was meeting up with the location owner of our event, confirming, signing the contract, and paying for the event space, making sure that it is ready to go. I'm super excited about that. Definitely a stress reliever because there was a moment there where the space might have been given to somebody else, and it was just a little bit stressful. So I'm grateful that everything works out how God and Goddess want it to. I asked for them. It's like, if you want this to continue forward, make a way for it to happen, even though it looks like the space might be needed for something else. And there are no other spaces. Mount Shasta on 8/8 is very busy. The whole weekend, this park, Mount Shasta City Park and Shastis Park, there are events. There's some sort of fair that's going on here over 8/8. So, yes, it'll be very busy and exciting to have the Megillah being brought to Mount Shasta at this time of manifestation. If you are interested in coming, reach out. My phone number is on there. Definitely don't sign me up for anything spammy or anything like that with my number. I shouldn't even have to say that. But if you're interested in coming to the 8/8 event, we would love to have you. I've had people say that they are coming from different states as well, so I'm super excited about that, and all that is coming to Mount Shasta. So let me see. Hey, Kyle. Kyle says, "Hey, I'm glad everything worked out yesterday." Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that you were sending some positive energy out for that to happen as well. So I appreciate your kind words and support. Let me see if there's anything else on here, since my phone is not being cool. Hey, a vegan world come sooner than later. Amen to that. It definitely cannot come soon enough, but it starts with us. And yeah, it is uncomfortable, and not necessarily uncomfortable, but inconvenient to live in a world that we are surrounded by all of these options that aren't vegan. Even, man, walking down the street smelling cooking animals is like pretty offensive. So being vegan in this world is not easy in some aspects. On another hand, for me, it's very easy because it's all about the animals. I understand the karmic aspect and the spiritual aspect. So, actually, I was going to say the other day when I was here on Sunday, I guess, for the drum circle, I was sitting over here in the grass, just taking in the sun, minding my own business. And some very unexpected person came up and just, they didn't even say anything besides, hey, I'm vegan. And like, it was just really cool because, especially they're unexpected, people are starting to awaken, and their reasoning for going vegan was about the energetic aspect, and how, fruit, and they actually don't eat vegetables, but fruit is very full of that life force energy and wants to be eaten. You're eating that life force energy directly from it. Um, and nothing is actually dying when you're eating fruit. So that was their perspective. Obviously, people go vegan and fruitarian in this case, to some extent. They do eat rice and beans, but um, people do it for whatever reason, as long as your reason is solid enough to keep you there and not to stray back. People that say, oh, I tried to go vegan, but that diet didn't work for me. Veganism isn't actually a diet. It's way more than what we eat. It has to do with the clothes we wear. Like, we don't wear leather. Most vegans do not wear wool. Wool is an interesting topic because we've bred sheep to overproduce wool, and they have to be taken care of. They have to be, that hair has to be taken care of. Otherwise, they can overheat, they can get bacterial infections, they can get stuck in different places. So as far as wool is concerned, there is, if your dog has a lot of hair, you take it to the groomer, they take care of it, they love it, they take that hair off in a loving and kind way. But there's also very mean ways to take the hair off of an animal in those competitions. Sometimes in like 4-H and different things, they will see how fast they can de-wool the sheep, and the sheep ends up, they don't really care if they cut it or anything like that. So when it comes to wool, it has to be done the proper way, but it has to also be done. In other cases, it doesn't have to be done. We don't have to milk cows. We don't have to kill animals, right? We don't have to take birds' eggs. And of course, there are Nasseran ways to live in harmony in a vegetarian way. Unfortunately, the things that you find at the store are not that. They come from very abused animals and killed animals, and those are not acceptable. So, anyways, yes, bring on a vegan world. I didn't mean to necessarily go off on that tangent, but better said than not said. All right, I am going to jump off of here. My devices are not working very well, but I will. I'm not going to promise anything for this weekend because, like I said, I got some friends coming into town. I'm going to be doing other things. If I do go live, I will be here. If I don't, the next main thing I'm going to be doing is on Monday for that. So I'll catch up with you then. I hope you have a wonderful and safe weekend. I will probably talk at some point about the 4th of July in America and all our freedom and all that kind of stuff, but not today. Have a wonderful weekend. May God and the Goddess bless you.